The cold brass of the front doorknob under your palm. It is always the exact same temperature, regardless of the season pressing against the wood. You stand on the porch for 3 seconds longer than necessary, letting the street lamp paint a sharp, elongated yellow rectangle across your shoes. You breathe out. It is a long, ragged exhale that tastes of stale coffee, exhaust fumes, and the frantic, buzzing energy of the last 10 hours. You stare at the tiny scratches on the brass plate. You are gathering yourself, not to prepare for a performance, but to end one. You turn the brass. You step inside. Immediately, the muscles in your face collapse. The bright, alert expression you wore all day, the one you offered the world like an expensive gift, vanishes into the dim light of the hallway. The skin around your eyes settles into an exhausted, heavy flatness. Your shoulders drop. The vibrant, animated creature that existed on the other side of this door dissolves, leaving behind something quiet, brittle, and entirely depleted. You are spectacular with people you will never see again. You are a sudden flare of light in their peripheral vision. You compliment a tired woman's coat in the elevator, your voice rich and genuinely animated, and you watch her posture straighten, her eyes brighten with surprise. You leave her feeling seen, elevated, warm. You laugh loudly, a deep chest laugh, at a practiced joke made by the delivery driver. You lean across the counter when the barista talks about his difficult weekend, nodding with a fierce, concentrated empathy. You pour your energy into these brief collisions like water into a cracked jug. It feels good. It feels completely safe. These strangers take the warmth you offer and they walk away, requiring nothing else. They do not ask you to sustain the glow. They do not look close enough to see the frayed, exhausted edges of the performance. You are a master of this shallow, brilliant theater. It costs you nothing because there is no stake, no permanent record. You are trading bright pennies for brief moments of validation. They walk away thinking you are remarkably kind. They believe you possess a deep, endless well of light. You get to be a hero in a 5-minute play, and then the curtain drops, and you are free to disappear. Then you cross the threshold of your own home. The door clicks shut behind you, sealing out the noise of the traffic. The air in the hallway is thick with the quiet, domestic hum of the refrigerator and the familiar, almost suffocating scent of laundry detergent and old wood. Your partner is in the kitchen, illuminated by the harsh overhead light. They hear the door. They turn. Their faces open, soft, completely undefended, waiting for you. And something inside you goes completely dark. It is a sudden, physical sensation, a heavy, leaden curtain dropping behind your ribs, blocking out all the light. Your jaw tightens until the teeth ache. Your throat constricts. The effortless words you had for the barista, the quick wit you gave to the delivery driver, they evaporate before they reach your tongue. "How was your day?" they ask. Their voice is gentle. It is a simple invitation, a bridge built across the linoleum floor. "Fine," you say. The syllable falls out of your mouth like a flat stone hitting the ground. You do not look at them. You cannot. You look at the stack of unopened mail on the counter. You look at the blinking green light on the microwave. You take off your coat with deliberate, agonizingly slow movements, building a wall of mundane tasks between their waiting gaze and your skin. They ask another question, a minor detail about dinner, or a mutual friend you both have not seen in months, and you feel a sudden, sharp spike of irritation. It is irrational. It is entirely unfair, but it burns hot in the back of your neck. Why are they asking you for things? Why do they need you to speak, to engage, to be present? You have nothing left. You scraped the bottom of your reserves hours ago. You gave it all away to people whose last names you do not even know. You retreat. You move to the living room, to the bedroom, to any corner where you can turn your back to the room. You shrink into your phone screen, bathing your tired eyes in the cold, blue light, scrolling numbly through the curated lives of strangers, just to avoid looking at the person who actually loves you. You tell yourself it is just exhaustion. You build a logical argument in your head. The outside world is demanding. You reason. You use up your energy navigating the friction of society, the loud demands of the city. You are simply resting. You believe that withdrawing from your partner is a necessary retreat, a biological imperative to gather your scattered pieces. You assume they should understand this. They are your safe harbor, aren't they? The harbor does not demand a performance. The harbor just lets the boat sit quietly in the dark water. But as the hours stretch into the evening, the silence in the apartment begins to curdle. It is not a restful silence. It is a loud, aggressive absence. Your partner sits on the other end of the couch. You can feel their warmth radiating across the cushions. You can hear the slight, uneven catch in their breathing. They are waiting for you to come back. They are waiting for the person who is supposedly so kind, so engaging, so full of effortless light. They have seen you at parties. They have watched you from across a crowded room, charming acquaintances, radiating grace. They know what you are capable of giving. And here, in the quiet intimacy of the living room, they get the remnants. They get the dry bones. You feel the guilt. It sits in your stomach like swallowed glass. You know what you are doing. You know how cold you have become. You watch yourself give a dead-eyed, empty stare to the person who knows your darkest fears, only hours after you gave a sparkling, attentive smile to a teenager bagging your groceries. It feels like a betrayal. It feels like a fundamental flaw in your wiring, a rot at the center of your chest. Why do you offer your best self to passing ghosts and your most hollow self to the one who stays? And then, staring at the shadows lengthening across the ceiling, a quiet thought arrives. It does not announce itself loudly. It just slips into the room and settles heavy on your chest, rearranging the shape of everything you just believed. What if the warmth you give to strangers isn't generosity at all? What if it is a bribe? You are not giving them your light because you have so much of it to spare. You are hyping them up, leaning in, laughing loudly, because if you dazzle them, they won't look closer. You paint a brilliant, towering mural on the front wall so they never ask to see the inside of the house. It is a brilliant, preemptive defense. If you give them exactly what they want, a feeling of importance, a fleeting, bright connection, they will take it and leave. They will not ask you for vulnerability. They will not ask you to be consistent tomorrow. They will not see the terror, the doubt, the hollow ache you carry around like a stone in your pocket. The performance is not connection. It is evasion. And when you come home to your partner, the evasion fails. They already know what the inside of the house looks like. They have seen the dust in the corners. They know exactly which floorboards creak when you walk on them in the middle of the night. There is no point in dazzling them. A bribe will not work on someone who already holds the deed. With them, the mask is entirely useless. But without the mask, you feel entirely defenseless. You recede because their gaze demands something terrifying, reality. When they look at you, they are not looking at a polished surface. They are looking at you. And if you let them in, if you offer them genuine warmth without the theatrical gloss, you risk being seen in all your terrifying, inadequate humanity. What if you try to be real with them, and it isn't enough? What if the real you, the quiet, messy, unpolished you, is a disappointment? It is easier to freeze. It is easier to turn your back and stare at the blank wall. If you give them nothing, they cannot reject what you truly are. If you remain a cold, unmoving stone, they cannot complain that the stone is flawed. You punish them for perceiving you. You starve them, not out of malice, but out of a profound, paralyzing fear. You hold them at arm's length, because bringing them closer means stepping out onto the high wire without a net. So you lie in bed next to them. The blankets are heavy, pressing down on your legs. The streetlights outside cast long, distorted shadows across the ceiling, moving slowly as cars pass in the distance. You can hear the faint, steady rhythm of their breathing. It is a quiet sound, a sound that asks for nothing but honesty. You want to reach across the mattress. You want to touch their shoulder. You want to open your mouth and say something true, something small. You want to apologize for the coldness, for the locked doors, for the bright pennies you threw away to people who did not matter while they sat here, waiting in the dark. Your hand twitches against the sheets. You pull it back. The air between you feels thick, impossible to navigate. The silence rings loudly in your ears. You close your eyes. You think of tomorrow. You think of the elevator, the grocery store, the sidewalk. You think of all the strangers waiting to be charmed. You will be so good to them. You will give them everything they want. And when the day is over, you will come back here. Your palm remembers the temperature of the cold brass doorknob. There is a quiet place here for those who stay awake too late. Subscribe if you would like to sit